been so cool to walk around Fan Expo today. Thank you for joining us for the Agatha All Along panel. My name is Victor Lucas, and I'm from the Electric Playground. Good to see you. You're probably wondering what the raffle ticket that you were handed is for. Okay, well, you're going to find out about that right after the panel, so keep that handy. Now, come along for a journey down the road as the infamous Agatha Harkness finds herself down and out of power after a suspicious goth teen helps break her free from a distorted spell. Her interest is piqued when he begs her to take him on the legendary Witch's Road, a magical gauntlet of trials that, if survived, rewards a witch with what they're missing. Please help me in giving a huge Canadian welcome to the writer, director, and executive producer of Agatha All Along, Jac Schaeffer. Yes. Hello. Next up, you know him from the series Heartstopper. Please welcome the brand new mysterious addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Locke. Hello, Joe. Hello. And you know and love her from countless amazing roles, but we are all here to celebrate the return of the Wicked Witch of WandaVision. Please welcome the star of Agatha All Along, Kathryn Hahn. I want to start with one for everyone here. Why don't we start with Jac first? Is Agatha a villain?
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, she is in the sense of the MCU, right? The MCU loves their labels, and so in that sphere, she's coded as a villain. But we all know she's way more than that. And her motivations are very different than your average villain in the MCU. Yeah, and she's far more spectacular.
Joe, what do you say? You think Agatha's a villain?
Yeah, I think the best people are. Villains have so many layers to them. They're not just, they've got more motivations than heroes, I guess.
We're learning a lot about you, Joe. And Kathryn, what do you think? Is Agatha a villain?
I mean, you can't put Agatha in a box. I think there's, of course, but one always asks the question, is she a good witch or a bad witch? Which witch is which? There's a lot of witch happening in Agatha Harkness.
Awesome. All right, I want to talk a little bit about WandaVision. What is grief, if not love persevering, is one of the best lines I've ever heard in my life. Yes? Incredible piece of dialogue right there. And it was so creative, WandaVision was. But I'm wondering, as WandaVision was coming together and you saw this incredible talent really owning her work and her role, did you see Agatha coming into her own as her own show? Was that happening?
Not at the time that we were making WandaVision, no. But it was very deliberate that at the end of WandaVision, we put Agatha on ice. You know, it was, we were never going to kill that lady off. We were always going to stash her somewhere. And it was, I didn't dare think of my involvement in her story, but I was just like, I'm going to leave her here under a rock. And some lucky storyteller is going to get to pick up this thread. And I'm so lucky that it was me.
Well, Kathryn, we haven't met before today, but you totally took my breath away on WandaVision. Like, from the minute you walked on stage, it was just electric, and it was clear that people were going to, like me, everybody was going to fall in love with you and your character. So it was a masterclass, and congratulations. And how does that feel to become this phenomenon? Because the whole world kind of became aware of you all at once.
Well, WandaVision came out during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, and I have no social media, so it was kind of happened in this weird, beautiful vacuum where I would go out with my mask on and with my kids, the grocery store, and I kind of started getting a sense when people started sending me those memes of me winking, my big mouth. So we kind of had a sense of it. But all I know is that like the part was so delicious, and when I heard witch, I was like, yeah, I think it's all led to this my whole life. So I was very, very excited to join the MCU in this capacity in particular. It was very exciting.
Amazing. Joe, I've got to ask about joining the MCU. I mean, this is quite an incredible addition to your story, which is still evolving. How did that feel to get asked to become part of Marvel?
I mean, like a dream come true. I feel like it's everyone's dream come true to, join the Marvel universe. When I found out I got the part, they sent me like a legal letter saying I got the part, and the bottom was just "Welcome to the Marvel universe." And it was like the coolest letter I've ever seen. It was just the best feeling. Because my audition process was so long, and like by the time I got the part, it was almost like relief more than anything.
Yeah.
I was so invested in it. I was like, if I don't get this part now, I'm gonna. I don't know. So, finding out I got this.
You could have just framed the letter.
Yeah, I have been better.
Yeah. All right. Now, obviously, Agatha was a standout character in WandaVision, Jack, but she's in a very bad way at the beginning of Agatha All Along. What is transpiring here? How does she get out of the pickle that she's in at the end of WandaVision?
Yeah, well, we left her entirely powerless. Wanda had taken every scrap of her power, which is like, at the start of Agatha All Along, we've never seen Agatha at sort of square one, which as a storyteller like that was so appealing to put her in kind of her nightmare scenario. And then on top of that, this mysterious teen shows up and he pitches her the idea of the fastest, best way to get her power back is to walk the witch's road. But in order to do that, she has to form a coven. So this is worst case scenario number 2 for Agatha. First she's powerless, second she has to have sisterhood. And it was just way too much fun to put her in that scenario where she has to be.
Yeah, it's like barf.
I'm curious for all three of you if you were fans of Marvel prior to this work. Were you ever a reader of the Marvel comics?
I have two kids, so that was kind of my entrance into Marvel, was kind of through them. And I love the scale. I love anything big scale like that that takes big swings and yet still feels human.
Yeah.
So I was always a huge lover of watching them. I just love the humor also.
Yeah.
The tone was really fun.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like WandaVision had such a specific tone.
So unique.
Yeah, that just felt kind of, again, like a little wicked stepsister, off to the side, which felt really, really fun to be a part of.
Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with the MCU. I was 5 when the first Iron Man film came out, so I feel like it's pretty much I grew up with it, and it feels like a very integral part of my childhood, and now I'm in it, which is great.
It must be surreal. Right? I mean, the biggest budgets, and they make the most money, and everybody loves them, and then you're a part of it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Must be surreal. Jack, what about yourself?
Actually, I mean, I wasn't, to be perfectly honest. I've always been a sci-fi kind of gal and very into fantasy when I was young. So I was always in the genre space, but I didn't know much about Marvel, and I hadn't worked on anything superhero-y, and my first job at Marvel was for Black Widow. And I think it actually served me. But it was, I think it helped me because I didn't come at it from the canon. I came at it from, Scarlett is a remarkable performer, and I was so fascinated by what she had established as that character and what we could do in her standalone. And then as I continued on in other projects, just every time I didn't know much about the comics, and they would, the Marvel people, Mary Lavanos, our executive producer, she would set things in front of me, and I'd be like, oh, that is cool, yeah, like that.
Which I think is probably a pretty healthy way to come at this in a way, isn't it? You want the audience to be brought in, You don't have to be so inside baseball.
Yeah, well, and I think it's really beautiful now, this sort of full scope of what is Marvel, that the comics are beautiful pieces of art that exist on their own, and then the films, the TV shows exist on their own. Like, it's just, yeah, it's an explosion of artistry, I think.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the medium of witches as fiction and as material to create these stories. What is it about, you know, that side of the world that's so entrancing for you to develop for?
For me, I mean, in the writer's room, that was sort of one of our first orders of business, is what is a witch, especially what is a witch inside the MCU. And where we landed with that is, you know, witches are survivors, and historically they have been othered and persecuted, and they make it through, you know, by good means and bad means, and that is fascinating. The sort of the constantly iterating, the theatricality of them, the sort of ritualness, the community. They're inherently tribal, and they might cut you. It's so cool.
Kathryn, did you respond to all of that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I love a witch. And I feel that this coven that was put together, we're all witches, for sure, in some way or another. I feel like we're all witches. And I think there is a feeling of being, that feeling of being othered is very potent in being a witch, like that feeling of being dangerous because you're not understandable and you're a threat almost. Like, I think witches throughout history have been such a threat to men because they're so powerful on their own.
Right.
And I think that there's something very interesting about that. And I love a cackle. Yeah, it contains it all.
Joe, you work with some legends on the show, and people that have lots of experience in this universe that Marvel is creating, but just lots of life experience. What's that like for you?
I mean, it was like, I've saved so much money on drama school because I just got to watch these amazing people work. You know, like, it was.
How's your cackle?
Oh, my cackle is not. I can't. I try my best.
Work in progress.
It doesn't work.
Now, there's a ton of musicality. We saw that in WandaVision. You had your own music video, which was incredible. It was so good.
It's called a music video. It's so exciting.
We were all singing it. It was great. But Joe, are you also now involved in the singing and the making of music with the witches? Is that happening?
Yeah. I mean, it was, you know, we have Pilot Bone in our cast, so to be able to, you know, do music with Pilot Bone is like the best. It's almost like there's so much pressure that there's no pressure because you can't talk by, so you may as well stop trying. Just have fun.
Just let her go. That's amazing. Jack, I'm sure everybody's seen the trailer, right, for Agatha All Along? There are some interesting cameos and connections to WandaVision built into that. Can you elaborate a little bit? What are the people of Westview up to in this show?
Those poor people of Westview.
They've been through so much!
Those performers are such terrific people, and we're so wonderful to come back and yeah, be in Westview with us again. Yeah, I mean, it's a corner of the MCU that is totally fascinating to me, and I'm interested in returning time and again. But it was such a great place to launch the show and to kick off Agatha's story. So yeah, we love our Westview.
Now, one of the cool things about Marvel is the team-up situation that they have. They have these beautiful comics where they pair superheroes and stuff. Kathryn, I'm wondering if you've ever thought of a hypothetical team-up for Agatha.
I mean, this particular chemistry is pretty right on. If it was outside of this coven, I've always thought Loki would be fun. A lot of mischief.
Yes. He isn't that now, though.
No, I know, but
there's a version of him that would be, though.
Yes.
Yes, I like that. All right, well, we know that Joe is playing a character named Teen.
You all laugh, but that's actually his name.
That's his. You're gonna get his
He
name.
watched the show.
Can you tell us about your character team?
He's like a goth, mysterious teen. There is supposed to be that. And he goes to Agatha, and he's the reason that they go on the road. He persuades Agatha to take him down the road. You know, he's a big fan of witches, but he hasn't got the power yet. And so him and Agatha, they find this coven and go on the road.
What is the Witch's Road? Take us into what the Witch's Road means for Agatha All Along.
Yeah, well, so the Witch's Road is something from the comics that we have kind of put our own stamp on. And in this world, the Witch's Road is a gauntlet of trials for witches to embark on, and the idea is that at the end of the road, the witch can get the thing that she is missing. So, I'm very inspired by quest stories, like things like, The Wizard of Oz and Neverending Story and Labyrinth and that kind of thing. So that's Witch's Road has those vibes to it.
Very cool. Now, one of the things that you did with WandaVision is you kind of, you and the whole team, you had presuppositions about what a Marvel show was going to be. And then all of those were just thrown out the window with WandaVision, and I'm wondering, which is incredible. And I'm wondering if that's part of the mission for Agatha All Along. Like, if you go in expecting something, are we getting something totally different?
Yeah, I mean, that was part of the thrill of both making WandaVision and rolling it out, was the surprise of it, and designing it to try and maximize fan enjoyment. I mean, we made WandaVision with so much love, and we tried to do it again with Agatha. And so it is a puzzle box show. It has a lot of mysteries, a lot of unfolding, a lot of left turns, a lot of rug pulls. So yeah, get ready.
Awesome. Kathryn, let's talk a little bit more about the music. And one of the things that I kind of picked up on, I just watched WandaVision again this week, that's why it's so top of mind. And the first 4 episodes of the show, you guys are not ready. But what I see in the way that you move is this musicality. Just the way you swing your elbows. I'm wondering if there was, it's amazing though. Like you're just floating through the scenes, and I'm wondering if you had, movement coach or dance instruction or anything like that.
Well, in WandaVision, Lizzie and I definitely had a movement coach for our power. Like, so that was so that we wanted to make sure that we each had our own language. And I think though for Agatha, it really was in the writing for me. It was like not overthought. It was just a very musical. I don't know, there was a musicality in the writing of her.
Yes.
So yeah, it did definitely come out. And through her costumes, there was so much fabric to be, how could you not play with it? So it was definitely baked in, for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yes, I want to ask about the other characters, some of the witches in the coven here, which are from Marvel lore. You've got Jennifer Kale, Alice Wu Gulliver, and Lilia Calderu. Can you take us into who these characters are and why they were important to the story?
No.
Sound that.
So Jennifer Kale is played by Sashir Zameda, who is like a deadly comedian, and she is a kind of wellness guru. There was an idea early on in the room that there would be an intersection between wellness culture and potions and that kind of thing. And so she's a real bitch, right? we love our Jen Kale. And then Patti LuPone plays Lilia Calderon. That is the correct response when the name Patti LuPone is conjured. And she is a divination witch, and she's Patty. There's really nothing else to say. And then Alice Wu Gulliver is I'm sorry, I'm just realizing I'm trying to pull back on spoilers when I say.
Yes,
this
is a tough. I know.
She's real cool, you guys.
Jack, do you think people should watch WandaVision before they get into Agatha All Along?
I mean, I think it enhances the watch. It's been my mission at Marvel to make projects that stand alone.
Mm-hmm.
I love being part of a mythology. It's such an honor to be part of a larger tapestry, but you always want your thing to be able to stand on its own 2 feet.
Yes.
But I do think seeing WandaVision in advance of Agatha just makes the watch a bit sweeter.
Very cool. Joe, congratulations on your theatrical run with Sweeney Todd. I'm wondering, like, it felt a little bit like you were still on a theatrical live theater type stage on this show. It does feel like there are some big moments like that.
Yeah, I mean, it almost was like Agatha was the training for Sweeney because it came first.
Okay, gotcha.
But you know, spending 6 months of pilot pun every day is the best theatre training you can have. But yeah, I mean, definitely some parts of Agatha that are very theatrical in that space.
That's amazing. Kathryn, I hope that there is more of Agatha All Along. I hope that this is the start of more seasons. I don't know. But I'm curious to hear where you would like to see Agatha as a character go. Are you thinking of where you would like to see her pop up?
Oh gosh. I mean, I think it was very important that this be like a beautiful, like just a gorgeous piece on its own, but I am open to anything. Yeah, my resume is out there.
Here's your contract. There you go.
Thank you.
That's honestly all the questions that I have. I don't know if I have to call it there or can I keep going? Marvel Police? What do I do? 2 minutes. Oh, I have 5 more minutes. Okay, cool. Okay, well let's talk a little, off book here. I want to know about maybe the first Marvel experience that you had that kind of opened your mind to how big these movies could be. Was there a film or a show that you watched that you just fell in love with?
Oh, I mean, I remember seeing Black Panther and because I had seen all the other movies, with my kids leading up to it, but there was something about of course, the world opening that made me so happy,
yeah.
and it was also so solid.
Right.
So I was very moved by that and just loved it.
Jack, is that something that surprises you too? The way that these kind of they're fantasy infused and they're first audiences that people think of as specific, but they cross over and entertain people that I think surprise people.
Yeah, I mean, Black Panther came out when I had first started working there, and so it was the first premiere that I was invited to. And I'm here to tell you that the Black Panther premiere, if you felt the world tremble, that was the Black Panther premiere. It was so beautiful, it's so important. And I just drank all the Kool-Aid. I was like, I'm so lucky to be here. What am I doing? It's all so special. And and at that time I was like, I think Thor Ragnarok is amazing, and it is amazing. But Black Panther, just knocked me down. And I think Marvel tries to with every project do something new, and that is invigorating as an artist.
Joe, do you want to tell us your character's name?
It's Teen.
It's Teen, sorry. It's an interesting name. Very unique, very unique.
Babies are going to be born named Teen.
Okay, well, actually, I do have one more for every one of you. Without spoiling the moment in the show, can you tell us about your favorite day working on Agatha All Along?
Oh, I mean, for sure it had to be, this was one of many days where the coven, all of us were sitting together, our chairs facing each other on stage, having some sort of snack, talking about the next snack, and it was Patty just singing something, and all of us just gabbing, and you had to just step, my mind just stepped back, and I could not believe that it was happening, that it went from that extraordinary experience of WandaVision to this, on this set that was the road, that is so incredible. It really felt like a fever dream in a good way. It was it really was magic. There's a lot of magic moments on this show.
That's awesome. Joe, do you have a favorite moment?
Do you remember when Patty, she was trying to find a song on her phone to put on?
Oh, yeah.
And she, like, I don't know how she found, but she found this, like, conservative Christian, like, song called I Married Up. And it was about this, like, southern man finding a wife who he can put in her place. And she, like, ironically, was like singing this song and like, listening to lyrics and getting so angry at it. And it was so funny because she was like, turn this off, turn this off!
She was singing along at the same time. She couldn't help it.
We're selling so many Patti LuPone records at this panel, it's amazing. And Jack, it must be just this most incredible thing to watch all of these performers just bring it all to life.
Absolutely. I mean, we have the absolute best cast. It's an embarrassment how terrific this cast is, and how well they connected. And they were all witches, and there was a lot of magic on set. And as Kathryn said, that we did it a lot practically. The show was almost entirely practically, and so all of our our special effects and the road that we built, yeah, it was bananas. All of those folks together.
Amazing. Well, this is a surreal moment for me, I have to tell you all. This is incredible. I was watching your show, on my TV in my basement the other day, and here I am on set with all of you. It's incredible. Let's give it another round of applause to trailer that we're going to run. Thank you. Woo! I got no switch.